my dear Cancer. This is your love and spirituality reading for the month of December 2018 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. We are soon entering into Sagittarius season, so wish all Sagittarius out there a happy birthday. I hope you have had a lovely November. I myself have had time to recuperate and have some days off, and I've been able to both rest and get a lot of things done that was falling behind. I feel much more in balance between work and play with this new organization. So if you want a personal reading with me, you can go to my website www.queenofcupstarot.se and check out the process. I read for the signs in the order of most liked videos, so hit the thumbs up button for your sign, and you can see the order I read in this time around at the community section of my channel. And thank you all for liking, watching, commenting, donating and subscribing to my channel. I'm so grateful for all of your appreciation. This is a general reading for Sun, Moon and Rising sign. For some people that watch, the story I read can be in the reversed. The energy is the same. You're all part of the whole, the drama that you are in, but it can be different castings to the different roles by the universe. For this reading, I will use the Druidcraft Tarot by Philip and Stephanie Carr-Gome, illustrated by Will Worthington, and I will start shuffling your cards. So, my dear Cancer, see what's going on for you this month of December. And we have the Hanged Man together with Five of Cups, so it doesn't seem too pleasant. It's like an uncomfortable situation, being stuck between a rock and a hard place, and also feeling very emotional in not so pleasant way. The Hangman is a situation, it's something that you probably haven't been able to cope with before. You are going to have to learn to cope with it now. So being more friendly to your emotion, but in the same time stabilize them more and more. So it's like holding your own hand a little bit, is what I'm feeling here. Okay. So I call the Divine with Love and Light. And here we have the King of Wands together with the Hangman. So some of you might be dealing with Leo, Sagittarius or an Aries individual. Some of you might be dealing with other signs, but a person that's have this kind of personality of being the leader, being very creative, things like this. But it might be that you have a time off from this kind of person, or it might be that this is you and your old creativity, like your own strength, getting things done, is on the hold. So you don't have the same energy that you might have had at your disposal before for some reason. Okay, so I call the four archangels in the four corners of the world, and here we have the Nine of Wands with the Hangman. So the Nine of Wands, it's a situation where we start to protect ourselves and start to have a little bit negative train of thoughts, feeling that the world is against us. So it might be that you are putting up a little bit of armor, putting up a little bit of fight towards someone that have hurt you, and it might be that there's no connection between you at the moment. Silent treatment comes to mind, and also things not progressing in the way maybe that you wanted before, but right now you don't seem to want things to progress. Or it might be this other character that doesn't want things to progress. Maybe they have become very suspicious about you at this time. It might be that you have forced to make someone disappointed, and this someone is not now a little bit on their guard. Okay, so I call the six elements: earth, wind, fire, water, spirit and ether to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Cancer viewers. So I want my dear Cancer to have love in their lives and to find themselves in loving relationships. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. Okay, so it almost felt ready there, but now it's perfectly ready. So I will just tune into you, Cancer, and this the energy of December and your reading for a few seconds here. So this is your future there, and this is your now, and this is your past. And in the past we have the Queen of Cups, so that's you. And she's all green, so it's very loving, fertile color, and she's dipping her toe in the water and kind of doing some kind of homage to the moon. It seems like the moon is coming out of her cup there. So it seems like you have been very much in tune with yourself and your own superpowers. We have something there I haven't discovered before. See if I can tune into it. It's probably a little snake there in the bottom of her throne. So there might be a snake in your paradise. And here is the now, and we have the King of Cups. So Queen of Cups, King of Cups, that usually shows like a very beautiful love between two people. It might show also a Scorpio person, can be Pisces or another Cancer. It can be a person of any sign, but when it comes both the Queen and the King of the same color or the same element in the reading, it shows people that's working on the same side, on the same things, being very connected. The King of Cups is a person that's making their inside into a healing temple. Okay, so there's making a lot of room for dealing with pain, and therefore making themselves rather pain-free. We can see here what this card came first and this second, so we can actually see that they are having not the best of connection. Even if I said that they had, it seems like you are very connected to someone, but you might have different areas which you need to work at the moment. So some person is going this route and the other is going this route to figure something out. Okay. And this is the future, and we have a Two of Pentacles. So because of this maybe lack of timing, that you have different things on your mind, there might also be difficulties with feeling connection and getting time maybe to find time for each other, and juggling everyday things that needs to be done. And so with the Two of Pentacles, maybe probably a separation that is very short term will make people feel very unsettled or very nervous, or thinking that the relationship is going to go under. So it might be people having a separation anxiety. For example, it just your husband goes out the door and you get anxious, or your partner at your firm where you're working needs to go on a holiday trip and you feel anxious. So it's some kind of separation anxiety is what I'm feeling. But the separation that happens here feels like it happens because people needs to maybe grow on their separate ways for a moment, probably not forever. It's just this time. Here we have Cernunnos. So Cernunnos is about shadows. It's a very green card, as is this. So I'm thinking we are talking about Cancer's shadow here. Cancer is a very homey sign. It wants the things that's known. It wants the things on the place where they put them. They want people that they love around them. They don't want to have disruptions or so much adventure. Maybe everything should be accordingly to what was yesterday, because that makes Cancer feel safe. So Cernunnos might be some kind of shadow to you, either being maybe a little bit obsessive, or want ownership over people, places, situations. Can be obsessive, loving someone and wanting them with you every time, every day. It can also be something else like jealousy, drug addiction. We see two water persons here that can point to drinking problems, of course, and it can also show on very passionate love towards someone, maybe a big need for someone, maybe that someone doesn't even know you exist. So sometimes it can be like that. Cernunnos. We can see that person was kind of spying a little bit here. Spying. Okay. With the Four of Cups here, I think that most Cancer are aware of this shadow that you have and you don't want to engage in it. So you kind of turn your back against that kind of emotion and try to deal with whatever you have that you feel is healthy, but that is actually making you a little bit half. So you need to address all the sides to you, also the sides to you that the personality traits that you don't like. You need to include them too and deal with them too and discuss them too. You can't pretend like they are not there, because that will only make you feel empty and hollow and like there's a hole inside of you. So if you have certain personality traits that you're not particularly proud of, put them on display with people that you trust and say, okay, I feel very much like this. I know that this is not very healthy, so I'm taking full responsibility for it, but this is how I feel. So just talking about it with someone that you trust might ease up the situation. So here you're trying to be grown up about it, and it making you kind of dull and not really happy with your situation. It's like you're trying to overcome it, but you can't overcome something that's so deeply rooted in yourself. And then we have the Tower. So your defenses against yourself kind of needs to go. It might also be defenses towards other people, because some of you might be deeply in love with someone and decide that you are not. And here the divine is coming and taking away that notion or that perception that you have and saying, no, that's not the truth. And you need to be aware of the real truth. So the best way is to do it deliberately, like with the practice I told you, talking about it, making it known. So then it's not a shadow anymore. Everyone knows it. Everyone take it into consideration and maybe help you, give you ideas or plans or ways to deal with it. If we have a person in our family that's obsessively jealous, for example, instead of letting that person toxicate the whole environment in the family, we talk about it at the dinner table. So I am a very jealous person. I often believe things that's not true. It comes from my wound, and I'm trying to not make it about you guys. And when you see that I'm going into this certain pattern, can you please tell me? It can be things like this. It can be other things as well. Not letting a big problem or someone's big shadow becoming a problem for everyone, but actually dealing with it head on, seeing the truth, seeing it for what it is, having a plan. For example, if someone is needing perfect tidy house, maybe we can have a perfect tidy house once a week or once a month when we are together helping cleaning the place up, and any other time people are maybe too preoccupied with school work, whatever, to keep a very, very tidy place. And people can also decide that, okay, if I find stuff that's yours, I put it in your room, so that they don't have to worry about those stuff lying somewhere. So we can have different things that bugs us or that makes us anxious or makes us kind of unbearable to live with. But if we are open with it, if we deal with it in an open way, we can actually deal with it, work it through. It's like having a therapy session inside the family, inside the partnership, at the workplace. One person can say, instead of like, I don't like people touching my food. If I put my lunchbox in here, I expect it to be still there when I return for lunch. But that is usually the person whose lunchbox is always missing. No one else has that problem, but just this person, because that is what they focus on. So usually what we fear the most is what we are going to attract to our lives. So by synchronicity, their lunchbox is going to be missing because someone thought it was rubbish, throw it away, or someone invited a customer, take food here if you're so very hungry. We need to fix your car so you can't be leaving anytime soon. And it's always that person's. So when we do this, we make our shadows being known and we start to deal with it so it won't bug us in the future. So for example, we can, if we have a big problem with losing our lunchbox, we can say, I have a big problem with this. and I'm trying to practice to not have it. And you can figure something out with your coworkers how to deal with this kind of situation. Maybe you need to have your own refrigerator with you with a lock on, where you can plug into the wall and no one will touch it, and no one will have to bother about your personal problem anymore. So we can deal with it in so many different ways, but if we do it openly and kind of reveal our weaknesses, people can actually be able to help or take things in consideration, or give us some tools that they can see that you haven't seen of how to deal with this. And this is in the now, and we have a 4 of Swords here. So 4 of Cups, 4 of Swords surrounding this poor devil here, Cernunnos. So you're really trying to, you're not happy about it, but you're really trying to keep yourself in check because you think that this part of you is dangerous. Okay, it's not to be let loose on the street. It will cause havoc and mayhem, and people will, like, houses will be destroyed and tsunamis will roll in over the town. I don't think that that's likely, but it's heroic, of course, with the 4 of Swords, 4 of Cups, trying to be very emperor-like with it and not letting this personality trait smudge other people. So it might be someone, it doesn't have to be you, Cancer, it can be someone in your family, your father, your aunt, someone having a big problem, maybe with drugs or OCD or whatever, and it's they are trying to keep it for themselves, but it's not healthy. It would be better if people in the family also could point it out. You seem to have a problem with your temper. Are you angry again? Can we talk about this? So this is trying to isolate Cernunnos here. It's not going to be successful. Here we also see the tower, like the place where the emperor lives, being struck by lightning. So I don't think Divine wanted in that way either, but it's very heroic that we try. We don't want to be a problem or a burden for other people, but actually everyone knows anyway. So they know. It's just that they are polite not to say it. So kind of like that. And here we have the lady. So lady together with Cernunnos. Here it starts to become more natural. Instead of the walls of China, we try to communicate and talk and sort it out and solve a problem with life force and love and progress. So that's much more fertile, much more healthy, and will probably have much more success. When we are able to be grand about it and show unconditional love towards it, being calm and in the same time supportive, or taking care of the person having the problem, that's more likely solving. It's not about being codependent. It's more about, well, I see you having this problem, and if you want to talk about it, you know where I'm at, but never letting the person become a martyr or passive aggressive with you, or use this that, oh, I'm so sad right now, you need to be available. No, I don't need to be available. So it's about keeping a clear head, seeing things for what they are, and dealing with it in the best way we know how to at this moment with the lady. And we can see the red here. Someone is bleeding. Also here, the red, and the red, it's clot, of course, but it seems like someone is hurting. So sometimes we can feel like we can't help others because we are so hurt ourselves, but there's something called the wounded healer. Okay, and here we have the magician. So the magician is kind of tuning in with the forces of the divine here, and doing something about this situation, using the flash, the power of the flash. It's like it's being a flash could easily come down here into the magician. I don't know if he would be comfortable with holding that much energy, but at least he's kind of up for it. So I think communication. Okay, there's way to deal with this situation that would be very prosperous. People love each other, and they want what's best for the other person. There is means and measurements to deal with situation that's not entirely healthy, and communication is one of them. Truth is another way, and also this rock on this, showing this foundation, and the foundation is of course the love. So as long as the love is there, it can be healed. Okay, so And people can be very grumpy with exposing their wounds. If you will say that you have a problem with alcohol, you have a problem with anger, you have a problem with jealousy, they're not going to be happy about it. They are going to act like, well, I don't have any problem at all, because they think that they have hidden the devil so well. But it's not hidden at all. It's obvious for this little triangle here that it's not hidden. It's clear as day, but it's something that we are not allowed to talk about, because then this person gets grumpy. Talking about it, making it normal to talk about it, going outside the convention. If you usually don't talk to this person because they are grumpy, start talking with them and surprise them a little bit. Use your very wise mind to penetrate their fortress a little bit, and the healing can begin. So either this is you having this, it can be both, okay? It's easier to see someone else's shadow, so maybe you start with healing someone else's shadow by not letting them think that they have been able to hide it. And thereby also starting to working with your own shadow simultaneously, because you will start to see things with yourself when you start to see things with the other person. Okay, and here is the future, and we have the Four of Pentacles. So I'm thinking the person here that tries to box things in, they seem to be very determined on doing so. So even if the tower is crashed, boom, bang, it's destroyed, they still are in the rubbish of that tower trying to hide away their secrets. So it's a futile attempt, obviously, to do something that's not going to be a success. But the person is used to behaving like this. They are used to hiding away and not showing that they are wounded or that they have a problem. So they're not going to just stop with doing that. And it's a little bit crab behavior, of course, but it doesn't have to be cancer. It can be someone that you are very worried about, that they have this kind of problem and you would like to help them. So we'll see. And here we have the Nine of Swords. So Nine of Swords is when we worry a great deal, and that is not going to help anyone or anything. So when we are becoming a victim, for example, either to the person having this big shadow, we can be codependent to a drug addict. That's like classic. We can also be an addict to a person that has anger management problems, or that is just not very cooperative, not very including. It might be a person that you love, yes, you love them, but they don't let you into their heart. Here they are very suspicious about letting someone into their heart, maybe because they know they would be overly jealous or overly dramatic or difficult in some other way. So if you love someone that is this difficult to approach, it might make you being very filled with pain. Okay, Nine of Swords, filled with pain. And here we have the Princess of Swords. So Princess of Swords is a revolutionary energy. It kind of doesn't let themselves being hurt in that way. So it's about either you play along with this and become the codependent, or you find a way to free yourself from being a codependent and always be able to speak about things like this. I can see almost a teenager before me coming in their very upsetting style, telling their parents that this food that you are eating, it's all wrong, because they have become a vegan, for example, and they are telling this is wrong, this is toxic, this is like this is like this. And that's the energy of the Princess of Swords. So it's both rude, but in the same time it will make changes. Okay, these people being used to putting all kind of sugars and toxics into their mouth will hear with sadness this teenagers point of view. But the point is that this teenager, when they were a child, they were not maybe allowed to have their own opinion, and now they have learned to see things their own way. So they are coming home saying this thing, even if it's rude, because haha, you are not giving me my allowance anymore. I'm standing on my own two legs and I am free to do whatever I want. So it's a very interesting dynamics that's going on here. Someone is trying to keep, like, hide something. It might be parents, for example, or the older generation. It can also be, is for here, so it can be a male, like a male wants to keep their power, don't want to show that they have a problem. If I have a problem, I deal with it myself. I'm not a sissy, I don't cry. So it can be any kind of that kind of stubbornness, or it's like a situation that doesn't want to change, like a person that doesn't want to change. They want to keep things as they are, status quo, because that's the only thing they know. And here comes this teenager or this new revolution. It actually comes from a divine point of view, but it's being used by a little bit malicious energy that might be steering things up because it feels nice. And this clash can be very interesting. It's probably going to make both parties feel like this. Both the people having the sugar in their in their food and the person coming in and being rude, both are going to feel anxious. But it's probably something that needs to happen at this point, because it's like this old, not tyranny per se, but this old structure that was in power before needs to wiggle a little bit. Maybe it just needs to become more balanced. Next time the teenager comes home, they might be saying good things instead. Oh, I see you have sorted out all the bad sugars and now have only these good sugars like fruit and other things. And I see you are becoming much more healthy. I was really worried about your health. So that's why I was a little bit rude the other time. And I'm happy you didn't become so angry with me. Maybe I made you sad, but I'm also happy that you followed some of my advices. So I love you. So it can become like that if people have the wisdom to do it like that, to see themselves from different perspective and be able to be the bigger person and see what's really going on. I was coming home, I was grumpy, and I wanted to put my parents into place because they did it so many times for me when I was younger. But it made me feel bad. I got ashamed. So when I came this other time and I saw that they humbly had done some progress, it actually made me feel even more ashamed. And now I'm saying I'm sorry. So I think this, what happened might have made both parties become better people. So this is a little bit what I see. It doesn't have to be in this exact situation. It might be someone denying having a drinking problem or denying having whatever kind of problem, sadness in their heart that they don't want to share. And suddenly something happens. Someone tells something that can be seen as rude and even hurtful. But it actually is some kind of ignition that will lead, it will make things unbalanced. The old balance that was there is no longer there, but it will lead to something that's better, okay, more healthy is what I'm feeling. Okay, so I will read, I think, the Princess of Swords for you, because that's the energy that changes this whole setting. Princess of Swords. See what it's another perspective of what she's about. Maybe some other ideas. The Princess of Swords represents someone who tends to take a detached view of life. Sometimes this can be helpful since it offers an objectivity that allows for clarity and discrimination. Like this person comes and saying, "Oh, your food is wrong." I don't really like when people do that. People needs to be able to eat their own food. We can always give advices, but here it comes, seeing that they eat the wrong food. At other times, though, this approach can prevent the person fully experience the world in its all depths and passion. For example, when being honest is a way of lifestyle and not seeing the other nuances with people that if you always tell the truth you might hurt people's very delicate feelings. The detachment of the Princess of Swords can separate her from her feelings, and others may experience her as aloof or distant. If this applies to you, it is perhaps time to develop an awareness of when your detachment is beneficial and when it's counterproductive and a denial of your full potential. The card may represent you, or it may represent someone you know or someone with whom you are communicating, particularly via electronic media such as phone or internet. Whoever it is, they may well excel at communication skills and verbal diplomacy, and they will also tend to bright and agile, enjoying intellectual challenges and team sports. The card can also indicate good conversation or a new phase appearing in your intellectual life, a new impulse to learn and grow, or a fresh viewpoint that is just dawning. Okay, so beautiful. So I will also take some cards from the Oracle of Angels by Mario Duguay. So what's going on for my sweet Cancers? I love that they are doing this. It's like they're giving me a big chunk of cards. Well, I accept. So here we have truth, and we have receptivity, and we have I am beautiful, and it's fulfillment. So it's very much like in harmony. So it's very much like this teenager learning to love themselves and learning to, you know, accept themselves. So I feel that kind of energy. So now we will go into the deeper level, and we'll take this first card, 13, the truth, which the Page of Swords and the Tower stands for. The Four of Swords might want to not reveal the truth so much. Nine of Swords is fearful of the truth. You may find yourself facing a situation in which it's difficult to determine the real truth of the matter and the best way forward. Instead of relying on your rational mind to work it out logically, try going within. Sit quietly in meditation, even if it's only for a few minutes a day, and you'll see the answer to the puzzle revealed perhaps when you least expect it. I look within to find my truth. I listen to the divine force that comes from my inner self. I am in harmony with myself, and I welcome the love of God, the power that will guide me towards my fullest shining radiance. Yes, I think this situation might have been very difficult for a very long time, which will lead to some kind of outburst here. But it's probably necessary to steer around in this pot a little bit and shift the balance a little bit. So truth is a good thing, even if it's difficult. First, it might be very difficult, and we are feeling like, oh, we can't say that, and we can't say this, and we're kind of stuck with not doing anything. But then it comes like a frog out of your mouth, and you're ashamed maybe, but it's actually the thing that are the solution in the end, even if it's uncomfortable for all the people involved. Receptivity. Take time to still your mind and find your silence within. Dedicating even just a few minutes a day to quiet contemplation will help you become more receptive to the spirit of light that allows you to see clearly and find peace and harmony with the universe. I still my mind and open to the spirit of light that permeates all things. I am one with the universe, and I gratefully receive its blessings. So we can see both these people having their arms stretched out. So it's like being open to this new thing and being receptive to this new thing, even if it's a little bit scary, and you might come out feeling like the black sheep a little bit, because you need to say something that's the truth. And so if you tune in meditation and stillness, maybe you will find out that you did the right thing, and you will be comfort inside of yourself. So it's actually like you hold a lot of responsibility in this situation for some reason. We can also see this in this card. I am beautiful. It's like you are the person holding this whole situation, is what I'm feeling. You are a beautiful and true being. Seeing the wonder of your soul, see just how beautiful you are. You are important to the universe. The nature of your smile brings comfort. The steadfastness of your light brings hope to those around you. Stay true to yourself. Your simplicity and your radiance help others more than you know. I am beautiful. My light brings hope to those around me. My smile makes the world brighter. So it's also like this. I think that many of you have felt in some way insignificant, and that people didn't really listen to you, or that your ideas wasn't worth hearing. But now you're in a process where these frogs are coming out, and it actually, and you may see that it makes a difference, that people are actually listening, that you were more important than what you believe. So it's really like this teenager growing up and finally finding out that also what they say have a value, not only what the parents say. So this can be in different ways, that you finally realize yourself to be an authority. That might be the thing. And then comes 6 and 7, fulfillment and harmony. It has been interesting how this angel oracle card has been lining up in numerical series this time. So they come in number order, many of them. A sense of fulfillment often comes from the realization of a dream or the meeting of a goal you had set for yourself. Reflect on what it is you need right now in order to experience fulfillment. Create a vision in your mind of what you would most like to achieve today, this week, this year, and then take action, no matter how small a step it might be in the direction of your dreams. My project becomes the perfect fulfillment of myself in harmony with the universe. I believe in myself and in my potential as a creator. And here it comes, because you hold some kind of energy here. It doesn't have to be with this little quarrel here, or this old structure that needs to change a little bit. It might be something that's totally separated, like something you have learned, some kind of epiphany or new endeavor or a new project. My project becomes the perfect fulfillment of myself in harmony with the universe. I believe in myself and in my potential as a creator. I make my dreams come true. I fulfill myself through my daily actions, through unconditional love, faith, wisdom, and positive thinking. So be it. And the last harmony is 7. It's possible to experience harmony even in the midst of chaos. This is because harmony comes from within and it's not dependent on external factors. So when you sometimes need to say the truth, or the truth just came out because your soul spoke it and made you embarrassed, try to roll with it, okay? Don't be so ashamed. Try to breathe and be okay. So that happened just now. I accept that it happened. I'm not going to be unsettled by it. I identify it to be the will of God or the universe, that this should happen. So I'm not going to be the one fighting against it or be sorry that it actually happened. Choose to live more harmoniously today, embracing all that it is without judgment. Take a moment to go within and connect with the inner sanctum at the heart of your being, where harmony always abounds, and consciously choose to bring some of that harmony with you everywhere you go. I center myself and create a protective bubble of love and light around me. Harmony is available to me at all times. Beautiful. Okay, so I will also take a card from Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection, to see what that wants to say about Cancer's relationships. Okay, thank you. I go where you go. So this is about this people here that really belongs together. Tell me, are you finding that the occasional stranger has a crush on you? That for words you almost mindlessly chosen, hearts broken too long, begin to heal. That eyes sometimes well up with tears when it's time to say goodbye. Remarkable. Our findings exactly. Psst. Your divine is showing the universe. So it shows that there is something special when it comes to this with love and connection. So even if you have felt out of harmony with someone, it's really still as beautiful as it has ever were. So you kind of don't have to worry. We need to go through a little bit disruption to maybe settle the scores so that things or situation might be more balanced. Sometimes when we meet someone and fall in love, we might be so thankful for that we kind of diminish ourselves and try to live up to that person's expectations. But after a while, when we see that, okay, we belong together, we might want to go back and balance up the situation, not being like bending at that other person's feet. But actually we need now to go into more equal relationships. Maybe you are the one courting the person to begin with, and the other person kind of needs to meet you up at this and show that you matters too, and you are equally important, and what you saw when you saw them was the truth. So you need to get in the whole reading seems to be about getting acknowledgement that you were right, or that your vision counts, or that you are able to see the truth, or you are able to tell people what's right, or determine with your wisdom what's the right thing to do or the right thing to go about things. But you haven't had this authority before in this situation, is what I'm feeling. I'm also noticing something that I don't really know exactly what it means, but these two is mirroring each other. So it might be that this is your partner, or this is you and your partner perfectly mirroring each other also in some way. So or this person that identifies the king is the one that also is being the one that's grumpy and don't want to change their mind, and like where things have headed, and don't want to admit to maybe having feelings that's very passionate of great importance, or problems being hidden. Okay, so my dear Cancer, I hope this helped. I want you to take really good care, and I welcome you back to my January reading that I will perform in the middle of December. Okay, bye bye.